You're not poor. You're playing the game wrong. And the worst part is, you don't even realize there's a game being played. Most people think money is earned. Work harder, save more, be patient. That's what they were told. That's what they believe. But that belief is exactly what keeps them stuck. Because money was never about effort. It was always about position. The world doesn't reward those who work the hardest. It rewards those who understand the system. And if you don't understand the system, you become part of it. You become predictable. You follow rules you didn't create. You chase outcomes you don't control. Most people never become wealthy because they never realize they are being psychologically programmed to remain financially obedient. They believe money is about hard work, but hard work alone has created more exhausted men than wealthy ones. This was understood centuries ago by men like Niccolo Machiavelli, Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Sun Tzu. They understood that the world does not reward innocence. It rewards positioning. The masses are taught morality. Strategists are taught leverage. And those two paths rarely lead to the same destination. You were taught to admire effort, but powerful people admire outcomes. That is why two men can work equally hard. While only one escapes the system, one sells labor, the other builds control. One survives, the other accumulates power. This is the invisible divide between the poor and the wealthy. Not intelligence, not luck, perception. The poor see money as something earned monthly. The strategist sees money as energy moving through systems. And whoever controls the system controls the flow. That is why wealthy people obsess over ownership. Ownership of businesses, ownership of media, ownership of attention, ownership of distribution. Because ownership bends reality in your favor. A man who depends entirely on a paycheck is not financially secure. He is financially tolerated. The moment the system no longer needs him, his security disappears. That is not freedom. That is dependence disguised as stability. And dependence has always been dangerous. Machiavelli understood that dependence destroys power. The man who needs approval becomes weak. The man who needs permission becomes controllable. And the man who needs a salary to survive can never negotiate from true strength. This is why wealth begins psychologically before it appears materially. Before money changes, identity changes. You stop seeing yourself as a worker inside the machine and start seeing yourself as someone studying the machine itself. That shift changes everything because now your mind searches for leverage instead of comfort. You stop asking, how can I work more? And begin asking, how can I position myself where effort multiplies? That question alone separates strategists from laborers. The average man trades hours for survival. The strategist trades value for influence. One is trapped in motion. The other is building momentum. And momentum is far more dangerous than effort. Because effort resets every morning. Momentum compounds while you sleep. This is why the wealthy appear calm while others panic. They are protected by systems. The average person only owns income. The strategist owns assets that continue producing regardless of emotion. This is why emotional control is directly connected to financial power. Most people destroy opportunities because they cannot control impulses. They panic during uncertainty. They chase during excitement. They quit during discomfort. Their emotions make their financial decisions for them. And emotional people are easy to manipulate. Markets know this. Corporations know this. Governments know this. Fear and desire move crowds more effectively than logic ever will. That is why modern society constantly keeps people emotionally overstimulated. Noise keeps people reactive, and reactive people never develop strategy. A distracted mind cannot build wealth. It can only consume. This is why silence is power. Silence allows observation. Observation reveals patterns. Patterns reveal opportunities. And opportunities create wealth long before the public notices them. The masses always arrive late. They buy after hype. They react after headlines. They move emotionally because they lack stillness. But the strategist moves differently. He studies before acting. He waits before speaking. He positions before moving. Because he understands something ancient civilizations already knew. The loudest man in the room is rarely the most powerful. Real power operates quietly. Silently, almost invisibly. That is how money truly moves, not through noise, through networks. not through effort alone, through positioning, not through motivation, through strategic patience. This is why Seneca warned against becoming a slave to external things, because the moment your peace depends on money, money controls you. And controlled men make weak decisions. Wealthy strategists do not worship money emotionally. They study it coldly, like generals studying terrain before war. To them, money is not emotional validation. It is positioning power, a tool, a shield, a weapon. This distinction matters, because poor people often use money to escape emotional pain. The strategist uses money to increase optionality. One spends emotionally, the other allocates strategically, and over decades, that difference becomes enormous. One life becomes fragile, the other becomes untouchable. This is why modern financial struggle is rarely about lack of income alone. It is usually lack of strategic identity. People consume symbols of wealth. Instead of building the foundations of it, they buy status before acquiring power. And status without power is one of the fastest routes to financial collapse. True wealth is often invisible at first. It hides in disciplined habits, in long-term positioning, in emotional restraint, in controlled decisions repeated consistently over time. But modern culture hates restraint. It glorifies urgency, instant pleasure, fast validation. And this creates financially weak minds. Because a weak mind cannot hold wealth even if it acquires it. This is why many people earn more money, yet remain trapped psychologically. Their habits never evolved. Their thinking never evolved. Their self-control never evolved. So eventually, their money disappears. Marcus Aurelius wrote that a man's life is shaped by the quality of his thoughts. The same applies to wealth. Your financial reality eventually reflects your dominant patterns, your discipline, your patience, your perception, your ability to delay emotion in favor of strategy. This is why financial domination is ultimately internal before external. You must become difficult to manipulate, difficult to provoke, difficult to tempt, because modern systems profit from impulsive people. Impulsive people overspend, overreact, overconsume, and remain dependent forever. The strategist becomes dangerous the moment he stops reacting emotionally to the world around him, because now he can see clearly while others panic. And clarity creates asymmetric advantage. This is where Sun Tzu becomes deeply relevant to money. He taught that supreme victory comes from positioning before conflict begins. The same is true financially. The greatest opportunities are recognized early by calm minds, not emotional crowds. That is why financial power often feels unfair to ordinary people, because they only see the visible result. They never see the years of silent positioning underneath it. They see the wealth, but not the discipline. They see the success, but not the restraint. They see the lifestyle, but not the psychological transformation required to sustain it. And sustaining wealth is harder than obtaining it, because once money arrives, new temptations appear, ego expands, distractions multiply, comfort weakens sharpness. Many men lose themselves at this stage. They begin performing wealth instead of protecting it. And performance is expensive. Strategists understand something deeper. The goal is not to look rich. The goal is to become economically untouchable. There is a difference. One seeks admiration. The other seeks freedom. Admiration is temporary. Freedom changes generations. This is why wealthy dynasties think differently from average earners. They think in decades, not weekends. They think in systems, not impulses. They think about preserving influence, not displaying consumption. And this mindset changes how they move through the world. Quietly, deliberately, coldly, like chess players thinking 10 moves ahead while others argue, emotionally over the current move. This is the real meaning of financial intelligence. Not simply making money, but understanding power, understanding leverage, understanding human behavior. Because money follows human behavior more than effort, always. If you understand fear, you understand markets. If you understand desire, you understand sales. If you understand status, you understand consumer psychology. And if you understand attention, you understand modern wealth. Because attention has become one of the most valuable currencies on earth. That is why those who control narratives often control financial outcomes. Media shapes perception. Perception shapes behavior. Behavior moves money. Again, systems. Everything returns to systems. The poor are trained to survive inside systems. Strategists learn how to position themselves above them. That is the hidden code few people ever discover. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. You begin realizing that wealth is not random. It is engineered, slowly, silently, strategically, like a kingdom built stone by stone while the crowd remains distracted by noise. So now, you are not poor because life is unfair. You are poor if you continue thinking like someone trapped inside a game designed by others. But the moment you begin studying power instead of appearances, the moment you begin valuing leverage over labor alone, the moment you stop reacting emotionally and start positioning strategically, you stop behaving like prey and begin thinking like the architect of your own financial empire. If this video offended you, good. Because uncomfortable truths are usually the ones that change lives. Most people will hear this, ignore it, and continue repeating the same financial patterns for the next 20 years. A few will understand that money is not controlled by effort alone, but by positioning, perception, and psychological discipline. Those people move differently. If you're one of them, prove it. Comment, "I see the game now." And share this video with someone who still believes hard work alone creates wealth. Because the most dangerous thing in modern society is a person who finally understands the system they were born into. Subscribe to Power by Silence, where philosophy becomes financial warfare.